All right. Hey, what's up, guys? Hopefully, you're having a fantastic Thanksgiving break right now. It's Wednesday night, and I was like, oh, I actually haven't filmed my video, kind of hopefully walking you through the rest of what you got to do on the Plan Ahead math module, because that's kind of your big homework for over break if you haven't done it yet. That's not, again, that once again, it's not algebra homework, right? Because in algebra class, we study algebra stuff, right? In algebra stuff, we're studying exponents right now. So don't forget that you have algebra homework, which is to finish your Desmos, the properties of exponents review task, to finish that before Monday, right? Shouldn't take very long. Should take maybe 20 minutes or something like that. And then your college and career homework, okay? Because college and career is a different class, it's a different thing we got to do. That's going to be finishing your plan ahead here. So, kind of been walking you through some things here, and then kind of pacing it out for you. Right now, you should be already through page 4 going into Thanksgiving. You just got to do page 5 and page 6 of the Plan Ahead math module. Okay, so let's take a look here. What we're looking at right now is Friday, November 20th. This is your classwork finished for homework. You also have Plan Ahead. Okay, this is really all contained, the stuff you need to take care of. The thing that's not really quite contained in this is the actual Plan Ahead thing itself. Okay, so down here it says homework, finish the Desmos. This Desmos for homework if you didn't finish in class. Okay, so that was the classwork you did on Friday, finish your homework. It says you will also have to complete the rest of Plan Ahead. And Plan Ahead has this other link here, and I hope I haven't looked super closely at this, but I hope that everybody has started the Plan Ahead for sure, because you guys have had days of dedicated homework, including I think one day we had a dedicated classwork day where it's just like work on Plan Ahead for homework. Okay, get it done. Anything like that here. Okay, so you should have already done page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4, and I filmed videos for page 3 at least, and for page 4 as well. And 1 and 2 I kind of talked through a little bit on class, I believe. I don't know if I filmed a video for those, but anyways. Okay, so let's check it out here. So you have to fill this stuff kind of in right now. And here's the Plan Ahead math module. Okay, so we're looking at Plan Ahead math module. Go to that. It's linked to in your Friday homework. There you go. We're good to go. We're here. And this is what we got to do. So we should have already done this here. This here on the right side here is page 2, number 5, using debt in a plan, right? A debt in an individual plan. So hopefully you did that because that's page 2. So I'll skip over that. What you need to make sure you finish, because hopefully you finished this one already. What you need to finish is this. Click it and open, and this should really look familiar to you by now because you should have done the first 4 pages of this. Okay, it's 6 pages total, and again, it's college and career. It's not algebra 1. Just gotta get it done. Just gotta get it done. You're fine. You'll get a 30 out of 30. Just get it done. If it's completely clear that you completely blew it off, then you're probably not going to pass this for the math section. You aren't going to get a 30 out of 30. But like, as long as you prove to me that you didn't completely blow it off, you'll be fine. You'll get full credit. Okay. So hopefully you've done these first 2 pages, right? Savings and investing is page 1. Compared stocks to mutual funds to savings accounts, right? Compare those, contrast those, advantages, disadvantages, right? Searching stuff up online. I shared with you that Investopedia webpage that you could use to look up any of those, right? Look up any of those and create an answer here. So again, we don't have enough time for me to show you how to do a research project. So hopefully you've done research projects in the past before. Looked up what FDIC insurance is online. Yeah, like which one of these accounts, stocks accounts, mutual funds accounts, savings accounts, which one of those would be FDIC insured, for instance? Okay. Maybe Google or is mutual funds FDIC insured, and then Google is savings account FDIC insured. Okay, so anyways, you have some Venn diagrams going on here, just comparing it. You don't have to actually draw the Venn diagram. It's fine if you don't. You can just be like, this is what a Roth IRA does, this is what a traditional IRA does, and this is what they both do. They both have in common. Anyways, you've done page 1, you've done page 2. Remember, I didn't like this one on page 2. I didn't really like this question that much. The answer here is E. As far as I am concerned here, for the advantage of using a credit card is to build up a credit history. So that makes it easier for you to get a loan later. Because if you're paying back your credit cards on time, then later, if you want to get a loan to buy a house or want to get a loan to buy a car, or want to get a loan to start a business, it's easier to get a loan because you have an established credit history that shows that you can be trusted, right? Be trusted. On a credit card, you can rack up debt, but if you're always paying it back, like later, like a few months later, then cool, your credit history is good. Anyways, you've done page 2, right? Page 2 is a credit score. Talk about that. Advantages, disadvantages of using credit card to make purchases. Yeah, you get points. Yeah, you get points. Points are a good thing when it comes to credit cards, right? It's like free. I get free airline flights by using my credit card. It's pretty nice. Okay, because they give you like 1 to 2% of your money back in terms of rewards. That's kind of nice. Anyways, hopefully you talked about that. On page 5, that was that separate sheet thing I showed you earlier, right? Separate sheet thing. You talk about how you can use debt, right? How you can borrow money to go to college, and how that can be a good thing. How you can borrow money and start a business, and how that could be a good thing. Or how you can borrow money and buy some real estate, and how that could be a good thing. And maybe what are some tax advantages of those? So, okay, so again, we don't like, I'm not teaching you college and career right now. This what this project is all about, is about kind of just doing some independent research and taking care of the college and career credit, right? Taking care of it, because there's no reason to take it as a standalone class, right? Standalone class. So you're just going to have to kind of figure out a lot of it on your own. Anyways, another thing that, again, doesn't come up until semester 2 for Algebra 1. So again, I can't do a whole unit on this, right? We just don't have enough time, is what you did here, pages 3 and 4, which was having to do this with this thing called compound savings worksheet. Okay, so some investments you'll make in life, you'll save money different, and you'll gain money different ways. Okay, if you invest in stocks, for instance, you'll make money if, because a stock is basically a small, very very usually tiny percentage of ownership in a company. Okay, that's what a stock is a very very tiny ownership of a company. What a stock, the way you make money with stocks is that a company does very, very well. Like they sell their products very well, they make a lot of money, and then the company's worth more, and then your stock's worth more. So when you sell it, you've made money. Okay, so that's just something that goes up in value because it's just worth more later. It's not something that is in a compound interest rate here. So, anyways, what compound interest is, and what you learned earlier, page 3 and page 4, was like compound interest is a set kind of percentage that you get for giving your money to somebody for a little while. So if you make a loan to somebody, if you put money in a bank, if you buy something called like an annuity, this is what it's called, an annuity, which is kind of a different type of derivative, they call that. But anyways, you get a certain percentage, a rate of interest, a fixed rate of interest every year, or maybe they break it up in different parts of the years, they break it up quarterly, monthly, biannually, something like that. So, anyways, hopefully you did this one. You get this idea that money is going to increase through usually a percentage. And how does that work, right? Like if I go 5 years with a percentage, and I'm cutting it up quarterly, right? Quarterly. So that's called compounded quarterly. What does that end up doing, for instance, here? So there's really not much to gain out of this here. I really need to do the unit later. But for instance, this one here should have jumped out to you when you did this on page 3. Find the balance after 20 years. How much interest did you make after 20 years? That 2.25% compounded monthly, starting with $50, you should have had a decent amount of money after 20 years, right? 2.25% doesn't sound like it's a big percentage, but 20 years and it's compounding monthly. It's compounding a lot if it's compounding monthly. I'm guessing that was pretty big number, pretty a lot bigger than after 5 years, for instance. Anyways, the idea is invest early, and keep your money in your accounts, and hopefully they compound quite a bit, and hopefully the rate's high, and then it's pretty crazy how much more money your money's worth in time. Okay. Page 4, you guys did this. I filmed a video for it. Make sure you've watched it. Okay, Carlos versus Ming. Carlos just invested $2,000 in these years, right? From age 22 to 27, he's putting in $2,000 each. So his total investment was 2,000, 2,000, 2,000, 2,000, 2,000, 2,000 was $12,000. That was his total investment here. And when he was 67, $150,000, $12,000 to $150,000. That's huge. That's a huge difference. Anyways, that one was the Carlos one. Ming started investing at age 27 or 28, I guess, is when she started investing. And then $2,000, $2,000, $2,000, $2,000, $2,000. So she invested $2,000 every year for a whole bunch of time, right? For way longer than the 6 years. And she had $300,000 at the end, higher than Carlos, but she put in a lot more money. Her total investment was a lot higher. Okay. So, anyways, I wasn't planning on doing that. That was just a quick recap of pages 1, 2, 3, and 4. You got to email me. You got to ask me questions if you have them. But I filmed the videos. You got to do your research. You just got to get it done. Right? I know I have faith in you. You can get it done. And here's the last part you got to do. Okay. Last part you got to do is budgeting for college, part 3. That's right, part 3 here. Let's check it out here. The formatting got kind of a little screwy here, so let's check it out here. All right, let's go into it. Part 3. This is it for homework. page 5, page 6, and then you're done with plan ahead. Then you're good to go. Math plan ahead, at least. You probably have a few other plan ahead assignments you got to do over Thanksgiving break. Anyways, budgeting for college, page 3. Many Lowell students continue their education at public schools. There we go. So they continue after college, after high school, they continue at public schools. Public schools would be like a public university, a public college, a community college, right? A junior college, a JC, they call them. That's community college, right? Anyways, the school path you choose can have a major impact on the cost of your education and your resulting budget. Consider the following information that is based on the 2019 and 2020 amounts. Okay, so it looks like we're going to compare these different public school options here. Look here, we can either go to a UC, we can go to an SF State University, so a state university, a CSU is what those are called, as CSU, and so the local one, I guess, is SF State. And then we have City College, right, which is a great. They're all great options, but that's the junior college there, or community college here, City College, and here's some information about this. Okay, so these different pathways you might take. So, like you're going to public school right now, right? You're going to Lowell. Some people go to private college, some people go to private university. Yeah, it's true, right? That's going to be a different calculation you're going to do. But most Lowell students choose a public option. They go to a UC, they go to they go to a state university, or they go to a community college. So that's what we're really going to look at, because it's probably going to be applicable to most of you guys here. We're going to look at how expensive, right? How expensive each of these options are, so that you can begin kind of thinking about them, right? So begin thinking about how you need to plan to save for those, or about how much it'll cost. Because maybe you don't need to save for it necessarily, because maybe you're saving for other things. You're saving for your retirement, and you want to you take on some student debt that maybe you'll pay down a little bit later. Okay, so it's important to be thinking about these things. I wouldn't be scared about the amount of debt you potentially go into, because there are a lot of financial aid options. Right, there are a lot of scholarships you can get later in high school, and a lot of schools are required to do what's called need-based financial aid. Okay, so when you are a senior, you actually fill out this government form called the FAFSA. Anyways, just a side note here, so you don't get scared away from all this money, right? All this money you might have to spend. Something called the FAFSA that every family you can fill it out. Every family can fill it out, and it basically tells the school. It's a government form, and it tells a school, both private or public, it tells them this is how much that this family should pay to go to the school. So I did this, right? When I was in high school, I did this. We filled out FAFSA, and I was thinking, man, I've always heard college costs like $50,000 a year or $40,000 a year, I guess, at the time. That's so much money. My family's never going to afford that. We're just like not scraping by, but like, we were worried about money all the time. Like, we didn't have any money, like, I didn't have less extra money or something like that. We didn't have $40,000 lying around, that's for sure. So we did the FAFSA thing. I went to a private university, which was pretty expensive ticket price, but yeah, we only ended up paying about $12,000 a year. Right, $12,000 a year, including room, including board. And room and board is room is where you live, right? That's the dorm. Board is the food, right? So when you go to college, it's not just the tuition, right? Meaning it's not just you paying for classes. You're paying for food, right? You're paying for food. You're paying for where you live, right? You're paying for the dorm. What else are you paying for? You're paying for your whole life, right? You're paying for your whole life, which includes food, shelter, right? You're in a dorm. Includes classes, right? You're paying for the instructors through classes. You're paying for the facilities, right? In classes, like the expenses add up, and each student has to pay their part. And some people can pay full price, other people can't pay full price. And then there are scholarships, and there are other types of ways that schools can help you, right? Can help you. Okay, so don't think I got to go to City College just because it sounds like the cheapest right now, or I got to go to SF State because it sounds cheaper than UC. All these different levels do try to help you out, right? They do try to help you out. You got to pay for books, which is rough, but you got to pay for transportation. There are other things that add up, but when it comes down to it, you should pay for college what your family can afford to pay. So I wouldn't get totally scared of this right now, because again, right, it blew my mind when I was a senior in high school. I was like, wait, I've heard college is so expensive. We're going to pay all this money. We had to pay $12,000, which is a lot of money, right? Definitely a lot of money. I definitely, had to pay some of that back after college, but didn't really super scare me off. Anyways, this is what you have to do. That was very, very long. That was very, very long. I kind of set it up here, but I figured I'd just film one last video. Then you're on your own. You got to get this stuff done. So that was that. Anyway, so let's do this here. This is what you have to do. Okay, so here are kind of some of the expenses that I just told you about, talked about, kind of freewheeling and laying it out there for you here. So how much it would cost to go to City College, for instance? Well, your enrollment per semester unit is free. So City College is free for any city resident. And you guys are all city residents. You'll live in San Francisco, so it's free to go there. That's nice. Okay, so you don't have to pay for classes. Full-time student takes 12 to 15 units a semester, which is 4 to 5 classes. Okay, so you're taking 4 to 5 classes per semester, but then you do have additional expenses. Okay, because you're taking those 4 to 5 classes. Each class, you got to buy books. You got to buy supplies overall, and then you're going to have transportation. So City College there's one right on Ocean Ave. There's also a campus in the Mission down where I used to live. I don't live there anymore. I moved. It's different. Anyways, I think there are a few other campuses in the city. So you got to have transportation. So you got to pay for like Muni or something like that, or BART. But anyways, you got to pay for, like, you usually live at home, so that's nice, but you don't have to pay for rent or anything like that. But perhaps you're planning on living by yourself, you got to pay for rent. Okay, so here's another thing about City College too. What a lot of Lowell students do, they go to City College for 2 years because, again, it doesn't cost any money, right, to take those classes. After 2 years, they have some credits, right? You have course credit. You've taken some college courses already. You can transfer to a UC or a CSU if you get accepted to those, and then you can complete your bachelor's degree. Okay, so what a bachelor's degree is, a 4-year college university. It's usually 4 years. Some of them are 5. Some bachelor's of sciences are 5. But anyways, bachelor's are typically 4 years. So to recap here, you do your first 2 years. One option is you do 2 years at City College. You don't have to pay for the classes at all, and then you earned a bunch of credits that you can use, right? Some of the introductory courses at the universities you can get covered by your years at City College, and then do that for 2 years, and then 2 years at the end, you take classes at a UC or a CSU to get your 4-year degree, right? Get your college degree at that point. Okay, so that's something that a lot of people do. We'll talk about that later. Then we have SF State University. SF State University tuition for full-time students for one semester is about $4,000, a little less than $4,000, $3,635. Full-time is defined as taking more than 6 units. Okay, so I'd say typically you're taking 12 to 15 units. So again, 4 to 5 classes, right? 4 to 5 classes. Additional expenses are this: books, supplies, transportation. Students usually lives at home. Yeah, if you live in San Francisco, you might as well live at home and just go to the SF State. But maybe you want to live out on your own a little bit. Maybe you want to like live in the dorms. So maybe you're putting in some money in a second and filling out how much money you're spending here. UC system tuition for 1 year, $14,000 base. Okay, so tuition's you're paying for classes, right? That's what you're paying for. You're paying for the instructors. You're paying for or taking classes, and you see the sticker price. What we say is like, if you can totally afford it, you got all the money, right? All the money here, you can afford whatever. Then you're paying $14,000 per year. That seems kind of low. Is it really that cheap? $14,000? Okay, I paid $12,000 for college, so I guess it's not bad out there of a possibility. But yeah, $14,000 is a pretty good deal compared to private colleges, are way more expensive than that. But anyways, out of state would be way more expensive. But anyways, tuition for 1 year is $14,000 base. Some campuses have a few additional fees. Okay, don't worry about those here. Additional expenses will be books, supplies, transportation, housing. Okay, so you probably, if you go to UC, that means the closest one is in Berkeley. You're not going to be traveling from home. You're not going to do that. You're going to want to be living there. So it's going to cost money. It's going to cost money to figure out how much housing costs at UC Berkeley. Okay, so let's look at the additional expenses. Book supplies can run about $150 per course per semester. Oh gosh, that's a lot. And remember, you're taking 4 to 5 classes. You're taking 4 to 5 courses per semester. Okay, so that $150 per course, right? 4 to 5 courses. You're gonna have to multiply that by 4 or 5 in a second when we think about how much books cost. Okay, transportation varies widely, right? Whether you're taking public transit. Okay, so you need to think about your situation when it comes to transportation. You got to think about where you're living to. Okay, um, and $1,000 a year, right, for having car, right? If you think, oh, I'll just drive there or whatever, cars are pretty expensive, right? Cars, you'll have insurance, which costs $1,000 a year. Wow, to begin with, and gas, of course, and parking and maintenance. Okay, so I'd say like having a car is like a probably like a $2,000 to $3,000 a year cost. Yeah, think about it that way. Parking expenses, gasoline, yeah, vehicle maintenance can also be very significant. Anyways, think about that. Okay, so here's part A, right? So the idea of this is here is we're going to budget for college. We just laid out a bunch of information. You're gonna have to fill in some more here by doing some research, online research. Okay, part A. Here we go. Part A. Imagine you are a first year student at each of the above colleges. Okay, you're first year student at City College, SF State, UC. Okay. What it says is to compare the cost of being a full-time student at each of the three college systems. To determine values, look up the cost of attendance for each school. Be prepared to answer the question, what does it cost to attend City College or San Francisco State or University of California for 1 year? Okay, so some of this information is listed here. So I'll start filling it out with you guys here. So check it out. City College of SF is this. Tuition for 1 year, $0. That's it. Doesn't cost anything. We have it right up there. So let's look here. SF State University, up tuition for 1 year, $3,635. UC system, $14,000. All right. So UC's tuition's kind of high, but again, you can get financial aid. If your parents can't afford it, your family can't afford it, you're not going to end up paying that $14,000. If it's like there's really no way you can pay that, you do get financial aid. It's possible. I was there. I got financial aid, not UC's, but my university gave me quite a bit of financial aid, which I thank them for immensely. It gives me a lot of flexibility in life later in life here. All right. Anyways, books and supplies. Well, in each one, you're taking 4 to 5 classes. So let's say you got to think like, am I going to try to get all my work done? Yeah, I'm somebody who gets a lot of his work done, as you can tell. I'll probably take 5 classes. So whatever, I'm going to multiply 5 by $150. You have to pay for your own books. In high school, they give you the books. You got to pay for your books in college. So I'm going to put $750 there for all of them. All right, each place you'd go to, you'd be taking 4 to 5 classes. So, all right, let's just say 5 classes, $750. There we go. Food and housing. Okay. Think City College of SF. Think, are you going to live alone, or are you going to live? Are you going to rent somewhere? Okay, figure out how much you're going to spend for housing. What about food? Right? What about food? Food isn't free unless your parents are just giving it to you and you don't need budget for it. So think about that. You got to decide it here. Food and housing, SF State, UC system. Well, SF State, you might be living at home too, so that might be kind of low. UC, you're probably going to have to pay for housing, right? Probably have to pay for housing. So for this one here, I would look it up online. UC Berkeley housing cost, right? Just Google it. This is what you have to do if you're going to go to college. You're going to have to search. You're going to have to budget. You're going to have to look at stuff here. So let's check it out here. Yeah, check that out. Yeah, $14,000 for tuition and fees. You know, your plan ahead was right on that one. Room and board. Oh my goodness. Wow, that's expensive. What? That's super expensive. So, anyways, that is extremely expensive. So that's where your money's coming from here, is that room and board is $17,000. That's why tuition is so low, huh? Because room and board is super high. Okay. So let's check it out here. But this is the Bay Area. It's expensive to live anywhere. So direct costs, living in a campus residence hall. Yeah, direct cost for UC Berkeley, $14,000. This is saying $19,000. Good God, that's a lot of money. Okay, it is what it is. It's right there. Though the health insurance too. We didn't even mention that. So, anyways, okay. So now I see why this $14,000 seems so low is because a lot of money that you need to pay to go to college is just you being there, you physically being there, being in a dorm room, being in the dining hall, eating stuff. It adds up. It costs money. Like to live in San Francisco, you can't rent an apartment for $1,200 a month. You can't. But if you're in a dorm, sure, $1,200 a month, that's probably fine. And then plus food, right? Plus another $100 for food or whatever. So, anyways, that's where that $19,000 come from. So that's pretty expensive, man. It's going to be so expensive when my daughter goes to college. It's super expensive. Wow, $42,000 to attend. So, anyways, this is all kind of laid out here for you, right? Of how you'd spend here. Anyways, I looked up Berkeley. I spelled Berkeley wrong too. Yeah, there we go. So, anyways, so I would just steal that information that's from here, okay, and put that in your plan ahead. UC system, food and housing, $19,000. That's a lot of money. So, anyways, be honest about the other ones. Maybe you're living at home. You're still probably gonna have to spend $5,000. I'm guessing for food, and maybe not 5,000, but if you're really frugal with food, maybe like 1,000 or two. But anyways, put it down what you anticipate spending. Personal expenses, again, man, it was pretty sobering to look at the rest of this. You think it's, yeah, personal expenses, they got it down right here. Look, $1,800. Part of the reason why they have this written down here is because the government's going to need them to take into consideration what you can spend, right? What you can spend. Get back to like the financial aid thing. When you fill out something called FAFSA, right? Let me just Google FAFSA for a second if you guys are interested. FAFSA. Okay, FAFSA is this. This is what you're going to fill out senior year. Is apply for financial aid, federal student aid, and this is from the government. Here, it's a .gov website. So look for those .gov websites. This is how the government can help you here. So fill out a FAFSA to help communicate with your school how much you can pay, and and just get shared with your school. So hopefully that you're not actually paying this much if you really can't afford it. Okay. Anyways, personal expenses. Well, they were saying $1,800, so probably personal expenses are the same at each school. Let's be honest here. Transportation. Think about that. City College of SF. You're probably taking Muni. I don't know how Muni is going to cost you. You have to search it online. UC system. You're driving, right? If you're driving or you're taking BART, that could be a lot more money, right? It could be a lot more money. Put it down here. So, anyways, total per year's there. You can kind of UC. Predicted basically $42,000 for total per year for UC. It's probably less for SF State, probably less for City College. You need to put in the numbers. You need to think about your own situation. You need to put out. So this isn't something that's going to look the same for everybody. Okay, this isn't going to look the same for everybody. You're going to put your best answers down for this one about what you think your situation is. It's time for you to think here. Okay, so if it's $42,000 for UC based on everything you think you'll have to spend, it's $42,000 for that. Okay, so think about it for the other ones too. Research them, and you'll be fine here. Okay, so anyways, I do get questions about that one, so hopefully that kind of covered things here. All right, so now it says now you have an idea of what 1 year of college education costs. As of 2016, 41% of students finished college in 4 years and 56% finished in 5 years. And it makes it very clear why financial aid or work study programs are so valuable when attending college. Okay, part B, using the above information, estimate the costs of a college tuition for 4 years and 5 years at FSF State or UC. What is the cost of 2 years at CCSF? Okay, so all you're doing here is total per year, right? Here's per year. So you got to do for 5 years. So what you're doing is multiplying that by 5, right, for the SF State. Multiplying the 4 years and 5 years for SF State or UC. So you can choose, right? You can choose SF State or you can choose UC. It doesn't have to be both, right? You can choose there. Whatever you think you'll do, SF State or UC, multiply it by 4, multiply it by 5, you got your 2 answers. And then the cost for 2 years of CCSF is going to be a lot less. Multiply it by 2, and you'll realize, hey, it might be a really good option for me. It might be kind of cheaper here. Okay, part C, many students attend CCSF for 2 years, then transfer to UC or state school. How much will 2 years at CCSF with 2 years at SFSU cost? So here, taking the 2 year at CCSF, adding, right, 1 year of SFSU, which you've already found here, and adding a second year, and then you're good to go on that one. Okay, so that's pretty obvious there, right? What you're supposed to do in this one. Email me if you have questions in that one. 2 years at CCSF, and then 2 years at the school that you'd want to transfer to, right? Is that SF State or is that a UC? Okay, add those up, and then that's like you should notice there is a difference between what you have up here in Part B and Part C, and maybe that could be a good option for you. Okay, so again, you're just thinking, you're trying to think in your own mind. You're not telling me what you're going to do, right? You're just getting stuff down, and you're thinking, trying to get something out of doing this plan ahead here. Okay, all right. Last thing here is this. My guess is you can't afford that $42,000. Okay, and again, if you had $20,000, just invest that right away. Put that aside because again, when you retire, you're so thankful you did that. Anyways, I had to plug that once again here. Investing $20,000 when you're a teenager, oh man, is such a good move. Anyway, consider the cost you calculated for attending 4 years of college. Choose one scenario you see yourself following: 4 years at UC, SFSU. Yeah, so you're picking one of those, right? Picking what you think you're going to end up doing. Okay, loan payoff calculators. There are many different sites online that help you calculate how long it takes to pay off a private loan. Search online for a loan calculator to determine how long it would take for you to pay off a student loan or any other loan from the scenario you chose above. If the maximum you can pay is $200 per month and the interest rate is 6.84. Okay, so here, just Google it. I'm gonna do something online here. So loan payoff calculator. There you go. And let's check it out here. Money under 30. This is you're under 30 years old, which I'm not. Mr. Ford is not. I know it's surprising. But I'm not under 30. All right, loan payoff calculator. Let's check it out here. Yeah, loan amount. So you're figuring out. Let's see here. All right, you're thinking if you borrowed all the money to go to the colleges, right? You're paying $42,000 a year for UC. So you're paying over $160,000 to do college, right, rather than work over those years here. $160,000. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, you could be making that amount of money a few years after college potentially. So, anyways, it could be money well spent. But anyways, say you need to borrow $160,000 to do that to put yourself through college. You need to decide, can I pay that off? So let's check it out here. Probably $160,000 here. 1, 2, 3, and the percentage was 6.84. So let's just do 6 point. Let's go bigger. 6.9 here. Calculate by monthly payments. Expected monthly payment $20. It says it should be at least 0.5% of the loan amount, and $200 is not 0.5% of the loan amount there. So anyways, I don't think this is actually going to work. We're going to calculate years to pay out. See, that doesn't make any sense. So anyways, I don't know what happened here. Years to pay off. I think it's because this scenario doesn't really make sense. So anyways, don't put yourself in this scenario. Who is this guy? Money School? I don't care about that guy. $4,000, $40,000. This website does not work. Let's see, calculate. What am I doing wrong here? Interest paid 0. No, this isn't working. This website's garbage. Here, let's try this out here. Loan payoff calculator. Put myself in your shoes here. Loan payoff calculator. There we go. Oh, Dave Ramsey. Okay, I've used this one before, I think. I don't know what Dave Ramsey is. I've just used this website before, I think. I'm like, oh, this guy. All right, cool. All right, let's see. $200 loan balance remaining. We'll go big again, that $160,000 or so that you might owe if you went to UC. And again, there will be other ways you can get financial aid, scholarships, other types. Like if you really can't afford it, they're not going to just say like go entirely into debt. I think that's how that works. Anyways, 6.84%. And yeah, see, it says it doesn't work. It says it doesn't work. Your current monthly payment does not cover the monthly interest loan. Okay, so this is an unreal scenario, right? Don't find yourself in the situation where you can only pay $200 a month and its interest rate is this high. That's way too high of an interest rate. Okay, so it says try increasing monthly payment. So if you have that situation here, I know some people get this being like, I used the loan payoff thing and it said it's not going to work for me. What you might write there be like, say like, I don't want to be in this situation. You might want to say, I'm not in this situation because I can't pay that off. So I would need to pay more than $200 a month. Okay. Or hopefully I can get a better loan than 6.84% because that interest rate is too high. Okay. So let's look at this government loan thing here. Okay. So just explain your answer here. Right? Explain it if you didn't get it to work out, but maybe you did get to work out if you went to City College or something like that. The government here on a need base, so their loans subsidized, so it's only a 3% interest rate. Okay, it might even be lower than that now because interest rates are really low here with our struggling economy. So we got here 3%. Let's check it out here and see if 3% works. Nope, still not working. Okay, so I think moral of the story is if you're going $160,000 in debt, you're going to have to pay more than $200 a month. Okay, let's see $40,000 here. Let's see if it works here and paying off $200 a month. All right, there we go. Yeah, so you can actually get it here. It would take you 23 years, right? 23 years to pay off a $40,000 loan, paying $20, $200 a month. Okay, that's something people do. That is something people do, right? I got student loan payments. I got to pay them off $200 a month. It happens, right? It totally happens for a long time. Hopefully, it doesn't take you that long, but that's it. All right, that's something that could happen, right? Okay. So, anyways, this sort of breaks it down. So, this is a good website to use. I use this Dave Ramsey one here that I just did, but I googled it. Okay. So, anyways, you get your answer here, right? Let's say it was $40,000 monthly, $200 a month. That would be about 23 years, right? Is your answer here? 'Cause that's 2043 is 23 years from now. Okay. Anyways, yeah, sell it. Not unusual for students to have $100,000 in student loan debt. Yes, it happens. How much would you have to pay per month if you wanted to pay off a student loan? That amount and 20 years at 6.84% interest. Okay, well, let's check this one out. See if I can figure this out. Edit current balance. Let's see, 100,000. I would just tinker with this one here. Okay, and the interest is 6.84. So here, like what I would do for this one, part C, is to maybe how much you have to pay per month is tinker with this paying per month thing. What about it's $500? Let's check it out here. Oh, it's not enough. $1,000 a month. Okay, that would take 13 years. Let's see. How much you have to pay if you want to do that and pay it off in 20 years? Okay, so I would do. Here, let's edit it here. All right. So, anyways, paying $1,000 would pay it off. $1,000 a month, 6.84% interest rate, $100,000 here. That would pay it off in 13 years. Okay, 13 years. So $1,000 is too high for your answer here. If you're paying $1,000 a month off to get down to that $100,000 off here, it'd take you 13 years to pay that back. And if you're working, right, paying an extra $1,000 a month, it's possible, right? College education is worth a lot in some fields. So it's possible to have that extra $1,000 to pay something back for sure. But I need to reduce this to get your answer here. So let me do 700. If you want to do 20 years, okay? So there's 25 years going from 2020 to 2045. So, paying $700 a month is not enough, right? Not enough. $700 a month, man, that's a lot of money. But hey, right? You got to get that $100,000 paid off somehow. Let's try $800 a month. It's just kind of tinkering with it. Yeah, about 19 years. So it's about $800 a month. The answer there to part C, it's about $800 a month. About 800, okay? Maybe a little bit less than 800, maybe more like 790 or so, okay? So there's not really a crazy calculation you're doing here. You're just playing with the tool to figure it out here. Calculate results. Yeah, so even 790 is it. So I would go with like 770 maybe. No, 780. Let's see here. There we go. There we go. January 2040. So 780. 780 is your answer. $780. Your answer for this one here. Okay, I hope you played around with this here. Google student loan forgiveness program. Write down 3 professions that will allow you the opportunity to eliminate your student loan. Hey, you guys can do that on your own. That seems obvious enough here. Okay. All right. So I want to cut off this video. It's a long video, but hey, I just kind of want to go through it because this plan ahead stuff. Man, I knew that I wouldn't like doing all this in all my different classes, especially over my freaking Thanksgiving break, my freshman year of high school. So, anyways, hopefully I kind of recapped what you're supposed to do. The first 4 pages, you should have done those already. You had opportunities to ask for help, right? That kind of stuff. So now you can really just focus on page 5 and page 6 and starting thinking about how much college might cost and some other ways you can sort of plan around it. Like, I'm probably gonna have to go into debt. These are probably some things I have to think about, and it's nice that you're thinking about them now, at least a little bit. Although, are there perfect answers out there? No. Life does not have perfect answers. Things will come up, and you'll learn on the fly, which is why I'm happy you're just kind of studying now. Email me if you have any questions. Have a great rest of your break. Bye, guys.